I do. We lived in Germany for 2 years and lived in Switzerland for 5 years. And I speak German fluently. Yeah. And I've done quite a bit of lieder. I've done recitals in a lot of different countries. It's not my primary focus, though. I really enjoy stage performing. I enjoy playing a character, and I enjoy, that's why I enjoy my show, that's why I enjoy opera and musical theater, because there's that element of playing a character and relating in some way to an audience. The recital experience for me is not entirely so rewarding, because I feel a little bit, there are certain traditions in deportment and in behavior. You're not it's all about the music, which is great. It's tremendous, and I've had wonderful experiences doing that. But I feel like that's only part of what I can do, and so I don't do it as often as some people do. I do a one-man show that has various titles depending on where I am or what songs I put into it. Sometimes I call it Rogers to Rossini, and other times I call it My Heart Is So Full of You, and it has different combinations of songs, and I put new things in and I take old things out all the time. And I really, really enjoy that. It's so much fun to just be myself. When we're doing opera, we're constantly playing another character, and I started out doing musical theater, and I feel very comfortable with it. And it's fun to talk to an audience, and tell stories and sing songs in between. It's a whole different kind of experience. It's like I feel completely responsible for carrying the show from beginning to end. I don't even like to take the time to take a drink of water, because I feel like it breaks the continuity, But it's been very well received, and I've got a DVD and a CD of one version of that show, and that's a lot of fun. And then I also do musicals from time to time. I'll be doing The Most Happy Fella at Ravinia in the summer, and doing Joey in that. And I'm also in discussions with a couple of different composers about doing a musical on Broadway. It wouldn't probably start on Broadway, but something that would be intended, a big musical intended for that eventually. And I'm interested in that just because I feel very comfortable in that. It's a lot of fun. It's a whole different experience to do that as opposed to doing opera. So, what I'd really like to do, my sort of ideal balance for a year would be to do maybe 70% of opera in sort of the bel canto repertoire, and do maybe one musical a year, and do my show about 6 times, and maybe do 1 or 2 recitals. That's what I would consider to be ideal. Now, there will be a time, I think, coming up in a couple of years where I could possibly move to New York to do a musical for a year. I would give up everything else to do 8 shows a week for a year, and then sort of see where that takes me, and go back to doing my preferred balance of mostly opera and a little bit of musical theater. No, not really. I have been offered a couple of roles on Broadway that were not appropriate at the time, so I decided not to do it. The problem is, if I don't plan it well in advance, if something comes up that I'd like to do in a Broadway show, I'd have to cancel everything for a year, and I don't like doing that. I just, I feel a commitment is a commitment, and it's important to honor contracts. So that point may come sometime pretty soon. I would love to do some straight acting. I would love to do that. I have an agent in Los Angeles that I have that's specifically for film and television, and unfortunately nothing's really happened with it, partly my fault and partly his fault. I'm not here a lot of the time, and to get somebody's acting career off the ground, that takes a lot of commitment, unless you just happen to get lucky and somebody who says, "Oh, I want you in my movie," but that kind of thing doesn't happen all the time. But I would really I would love to do that.
Marianne is what they call you, but there's no name describing all you could mean to any lucky fellow. Oh, lucky fellow, who will he be? In your eye an elfin gleaming can make me lose myself in dreaming, and